Welcome, wherever you are tuning in from, to our latest episode of Partners Unplugged. It's been a minute since we've jumped on here, but we wanted to use this platform again. There's lots going on in the world and lots of important things that Partners is involved with. And we also want to talk about some fun and significant ways we're supporting that work through running. And so today's episode, we're going to get to interview one of our staff members, highlight some of the on-the-ground work that's happening at the moment and some of the reality of the world we live in, and then invite you all to consider joining a thing that we call On the Run. So to get us going, we work in maybe 8 countries right now, 9 actually, and as most of you know, probably there's a lot of war and conflict in the headlines, and Partners is a community that's intentionally not looking away, but is responding with love and solidarity and trying to alleviate suffering and bring sustainable development in places where people are impacted by conflict. And so we have teams right now in Lebanon, throughout the Middle East, where the conflict is going on, and throughout Southeast Asia. And in all those places, one of the stories that comes up is how people have had to flee. A war breaks out and they pack up their kids, sometimes in the dead of night, and leave as quickly as they can. And so the stats are pretty remarkable. Actually, the UN says that in 2025, and I think the numbers have gone up, there's 117 million people in the world who have been forced to flee their homes due to persecution, conflict, or other violence, and somewhere around 50 million refugees. And so that's about 1 in 70 people on the planet that have had to flee. And so the fundraiser we're going to do, and we're going to talk about in a moment, is all about not only raising awareness, but building community and standing in solidarity with those who have had to flee. So thanks for joining us. And if you are watching live or later, put something in the chats to let us know you are here and where you're coming from. So as we get going, I want to share one of our videos that kind of captures and tells a story of folks who have had to flee conflict. It's called They Are Waiting.
In northeast Syria, resilience is fragile. This land has been bombed by opposition forces and nations, disrupted by war, yet its people endure. They have learned to withstand attacks, to push forward despite displacement, to hold on to hope when everything around them is falling apart. But resilience alone is not enough. Displacement upon displacement. Families forced to flee from Afrin to Raqqa, then elsewhere searching for safety. They move again and again, leaving behind not just homes, but their sense of stability, education, healthcare, and peace of mind. They are waiting for the conflict to stop, waiting for aid to come, waiting for safety, for homes to be rebuilt, for schools to open again, for the day they can stop running. But we don't have to wait. With your support, we can provide immediate relief, food, shelter, and education. We can help families find stability in the midst of chaos. They have endured so much. Let's show them they are not forgotten. Be the reason they stop waiting.
Yeah, it's a sobering reality thinking about the scale and the families and how many people have had to flee conflict. And our team has sat with innumerable families trying to help, bringing food, aid, medicine, shelter. In Northeast Syria, where a lot of those images were, we've rebuilt somewhere around 20 schools after all the conflicts of the last decade. And just recently, as conflict reemerged, many of the schools converted to temporary shelters where people were fleeing violence. And so Partners as a community, we stand in solidarity with those who are running from all this. And so one of the ways we can do that in places like North America, wherever we're coming from, is trying to tell their story, hold their story. And we can also do that and build community, and also try to be fit too. So thanks for being a part of that with us. And today we are highlighting our campaign, which we're calling On the Run, which is kind of a play on the words because a lot of us are running, but also to name how so many around the world have had to be forced to be on the run. So my name is Chris Scott. I am Director of Strategic Engagement, and I just went on a jog, which is why I have my running hat on. And I'm a part of the On the Run group, and so is our honored guest today. So I've been having you on the screen this whole time. You've just been watching. So now I finally get to ask you some questions and get you in the loop. So could you introduce yourself, your role with Partners, and yeah, tell us a little bit who you are.
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Mckenna, and I am the communications coordinator here at Partners at our Grand Rapids, Michigan office. And yeah, I've been with Partners for about 3 years now. It feels like time has flown. I can't believe it's been 3 years already. But yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you guys today.
That's great. Thanks for hanging. You shared your title. That also means if you see anything on social media that's like telling the story, captures the heart of Partners well, or it's like beautiful, that's likely because of Mckenna's work. So well done. Random question about your work, not really about your work, but the world you're in. Which is your least favorite form of social media of all the platforms? Which one are you like, I don't
Ooh.
like that one?
I'd probably say Twitter, which now it's like X. I feel like it's just a labyrinth to try to figure out sometimes. But yeah, that one always gives me a run for my money.
I'm still going to call it Twitter, but just because
Yeah, I still type it in to Google and Google says Twitter, so I'm like, I'll say Twitter.
totally. Yeah, social media, the trade-offs, the crazy world we're living in on social media. I'm grateful though
Mhm.
that it's still a platform we can get the word out and connect with folks. How did you get connected to Partners initially?
I just found the job posting on LinkedIn. I was fresh out of college and looking for a job, and I majored in communications and minored in public and nonprofit administration. So I was like, I think this fits.
Cool. That's great. Well, I'm glad you're on the team. And not only are you wonderful at the communication side and managing our accounts and all the things, telling our story, but you're also a runner yourself. How long have you been running? And yeah, what does running mean to you?
Yeah, I think if we're going back to like the olden days, I started running in like elementary school. We did this program. I don't know if it's a nationwide thing, but it's called Girls on the Run. And it's just a fun little group for elementary girls to just start running. But then fast forward a few years later, in high school, I started running more seriously when I was on the cross country and track team. And I really feel like I owe a lot to those days because it builds a lot of grit in
Mm.
you. And I feel like I still like kind of carry that with me with my running today. But yeah, running to me means a couple different things. One, it reminds me that I can do hard things. I think during my like college years, I kind of ran on and off, not as consistent, and I wanted to change that. And so I signed up for like a local 5K, and I was like, I think I can do this, right? Like I know I can because I've done it in the past, and running that race and like training for it really made me realize like, hey, like I still got this, I can do this, and kind of like reignited my love for the sport. And then the next year I was like, I'm gonna go big or go home, and I ran a marathon. So maybe it's a little bit of delusion, maybe it's also just like a mindset where you're like, I was like, well, I have all this training in my past, I think I can do this. But yeah, I feel like running is a mental sport and also like a very hard sport physically too. So yeah, it's just always reminds me that I can do hard things. But I also feel like running is community to me too. Like whether you're doing a run club or you're on a team, or you're doing something like this on the run fundraiser, it just like helps and like rallies people around doing something bigger than themselves sometimes. And I don't know if you saw, there was a bunch of like content from the London Marathon this past weekend.
Mm.
And there's a guy that ran with a fridge on his back to help raise awareness for dementia.
Mm.
Because his like mom passed away from it, and then he found out that he is susceptible to it later in life too. So yeah, it was just really cool to see all of the support that he was getting from that, and the community of people that will rally around, yeah, doing something like physically hard, but also just like, yeah, supporting the cause.
Totally. Yeah, I love that you said that. It's almost like there's a spiritual aspect to it that there can be. I mean, there's definitely the internal, like if you do a full marathon, that is a struggle. You have to work through stuff and endure and learn resiliency and all that. And then you kind of know you can do it. And I love that you said you can do hard stuff. Like it reminds you that. And I was thinking about actually the image that we have for the On the Run graphic is the feet of a Buddhist monk and then like a jogger or hiker. And I was thinking about how a lot of people in the world, I interact with a lot of folks who see what's going on around the world, but don't know what to do. And I actually think it's like a great way to move the energy of the anxiety and also like contribute to responding in love. I think about that group of monks who was walking across the country this year advocating for peace. And I think that matters. And so I think like each of us running in this On the Run in any way, I think there's a lot going on, and it does make a difference. And if we can raise some money and raise some awareness for our siblings caught in conflict, like all the better. Okay, so we've mentioned On the Run a few times. Tell us what it is. I'll pull up a slide just to give you that image. This is the graphic. This is just a screenshot from our website and where we're at in our fundraising goals so far. Yeah, tell us about what On the Run is.
Yeah, On the Run is our peer-to-peer fundraiser that's going on right now, and people can take their passion of running, hiking, walking, or honestly any physical activity, and turn it into a force for good for families and kids who are on the run from conflicts in their own communities. But yeah, you can go to our website, and you can see everybody's stories. I think we even have some people swimming, if I'm not mistaken.
We do. I have a friend, Tanya. Hers is coming up. I'm not traveling for Partners in California, and she's here in the Bay Area, and she's done like Alcatraz swims, which if you don't know anything about that, it's very cold water. And it's doing a swim. And Garrett's doing a 50K. A few people are doing some 5Ks, but shout out to all these folks. And Brianna, is that how you say it? Carissa, Rebecca, Annalisa, Garrett, Tanya. And we have international runners and Dave, who's running down under. Yes. That's pretty cool. So how might you sign up for On the Run?
Yeah, if you are on our Instagram and you're watching right now, you can go to the link in our bio, and we have our On the Run page right there, and you can go and sign up. If you're signed up for a race already in your town, like that's great. You can include that, or you can kind of create something on your own too. But yeah, that's where you can find our page.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's just a couple steps. And then people can share it out to their own social media networks or on Strava, if they're on Strava, or text it out. It's been really encouraging. We didn't know if we'd get anybody besides me and you when we first were brainstorming the idea, but we have 10 runners already, or 10 participants. And so I would love to see 15 people. That'd be really cool. At some point this summer is kind of the idea. So you can pick your own race, or like Mckenna said, anything you want. And then together we'll be doing it this summer and kind of telling the story of Partners' work, building community and raising money for folks in need. And I'm very grateful, not just to have an excuse to stay fit, but also for the impact. I think you and I both know where the money goes. And I mentioned, I kind of hinted at it. We have teams in Lebanon right now where roughly 1 million people have been displaced, who have been forced on the run. It's like a fifth of the country. And it's always the children who suffer the most and the most vulnerable. No fault of their own, they're just there. And that echoes what's happening in Syria and other places in Iraq and throughout the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Myanmar. The civil war is as bad as it's ever been. And many millions are displaced around Myanmar and Bangladesh, where one of the largest refugee camps in the world is, where people had to flee their home and are still on the run, seemingly indefinitely. And so for me, I've kind of been meditating and praying for them also when I run, like just thinking about them and holding their story in my heart as I jog about wherever I am. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Any last words on the run, and anyone you want to shout out, or anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, one, I want to shout out my roommate, Lily, who also signed up for this as well. So I'll be showing her this live stream.
Thanks.
But yeah, I feel like I definitely, with everything going on in the world and all of the hurt, I feel like I always am like, what can I do? What's one like tangible thing that I can do? Because so many people are hurting and so many people need help. But I feel like on the run and like the opportunity that it gives for people to, one, like do something to better themselves, but also like better the world too. I think it's a really cool opportunity. So I think everybody should sign up. But that's just me.
I agree. Yeah, can you imagine if like we had 15 or 20 people this year total, and then next year had like 100 people, and like it became a thing? Who knows? I'll speak that out and try to manifest it.
Totally.
Really well said, Mckenna. And if you're watching this and you're on the fence, or you want to do something small or big, let us know. If you have any questions, hit us up. And to our partners community and those watching, thank you for standing with us and standing with our siblings around the world impacted by conflict. Our hope is that they know that they're not alone, and that they know that they're loved, and that we can meet material needs. So thanks for being with us in this. And we'll catch you on the next Unplugged. I need like a sign-off line or something.
We'll work on it.
What do you say?
We'll workshop it. We'll work on it.
We'll workshop it. Yeah. So I don't end our streams awkwardly, but blessings to everyone in the partners community. And thanks again. Take care.